Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything is going to be okay. That new little intro saying of mine is kind of for my benefit as well as the benefit of others. Today I have to report that my cat Sandy sadly has passed away. Those who've been watching my channel will be familiar with him. I did a vlog showing him a while back, and then more recently he's been in a lot of my No Man's Sky live streams. He jumps up in my lap and you can see him on the face cam. But just last night he died. I want to tell a little bit about him. As you can see in this picture, you can see my mother with Sandy and her bird. I've covered up the picture that you're seeing is a mosaic of other photos. I've covered up the other photos not because I'm trying to like erase other people from history or anything. It's just that there's pictures of people that are still alive that I don't have their permission to show them on a YouTube video, so I've covered them up. But everybody you can see in this picture has passed away. I'll tell about the bird first real quick. Sweetie was my mom's bird, cockatiel, and we had her for quite a few years. And usually cockatiels live a lot longer, but she got sickly. She had some kind of problem with her feathers. She kept picking at her feathers, and she passed away. Sweetie, it's funny, when we first got Sweetie, we called her Spencer because we thought it was a boy, because we thought that the boy of a bird species was always the brightly colored one, and that the girls were the brown, less vibrant looking ones. But when Spencer started laying eggs, we realized it was actually a girl, and I guess some female cockatiels can be brightly colored, so we renamed her Sweetie. But about 6 years ago, my mother fell and broke her ankle, and I was taking care of both my mom and Sandy and the bird, and like I said, Sweetie had been having a lot of problems with picking at her feathers, and I was supposed to be like spraying her with water or something to help her clean herself better. And I don't know if it was my fault or not, but while my mom was hurt in her room with her leg broken, her ankle broken, Sweetie died. So, and of course, I should say, in March of this year, 2018, my mom passed away. Those of you that have watched that vlog of me giving her eulogy will know that. And after my mom passed away, I inherited Sandy, and I've been having him for the past 3 or so months. But I'd like to tell the history of Sandy. Sandy, according to my sister, was about 17 years old. We got him back when I was in high school. My stepfather at the time found him outside and brought him in. And when we first brought him in, tried to keep him, mom was totally against it. We had 2 cats, Willie and Sugar, and Willie had just died. And then we found Sandy, and then mom was like, no, I don't want us to have pets anymore, so we don't have to pay for them and everything. But we kind of convinced her to keep Sandy. Sugar, the female cat that we still had at the time, of course, was totally against it as well. Cats are very territorial, and Sugar wasn't a very nice cat, especially when she got to be real old. She hissed and spat and wouldn't have anything to do with Sandy at first, but they got along later, and they would, cuddle and be friends again. or they were friends up until Sugar died a few years later. So then we had Sandy. This picture was taken about 10 years ago, I think. Yeah, it was like right after I got out of college. And by this time, Mom had fallen in love with Sandy, obviously. Sandy, when we first got him, we considered him to be my sister's cat because my sister had been going through some, you know, teenage emotional problems and everything, and Sandy was a real comfort to her. And then when I moved out for college and my sister moved out for college, Mom fell in love with Sandy, and once when I moved back from college, I lived at my mom's house. I still do, technically. When I got out of college, my mom was nice enough to let me start renting. She wasn't the kind of mom that would just let me stay at her house for free. She wanted, you know, at the very least that I be paying rent so that I'd know what it was like to be an adult and have to pay for my living and everything. But once I had settled in and was paying for rent to stay at the house that I grew up in, she started moving other places. She lived at this picture was taken at an apartment in Kansas City, I think, that she rented for a while because since I was back home and she kind of wanted to be an empty nester, it's kind of funny. Instead of kicking me out and making me be the one that had to move out and get an apartment, she had me rent her house and she went out and got an apartment. So this picture was at one apartment that she had, and then she later moved to another apartment, and then when that didn't work out because she just couldn't afford it, then she came back and we lived in the same house for a while. And it was during that time that she fell and broke her ankle, and I took care of her. And like I said, Sweetie died, sadly. And then a few years later, she married my stepfather, who I still consider to be my stepfather, even though they ended up getting divorced. But strangely enough, they still stayed friends and saw each other even after they were divorced. So it was a case where they couldn't live together and they couldn't live apart. So, and that he was a really good guy, and he really took care of my mom when she was in the hospital and was dying. So he still loved her and he still cared for her. So I still think of him as my stepfather. And I always will, even though they technically weren't married when she passed away. But, and so, like I said, when my mom went to the hospital, I drove to the house that my mom was living at the time, which was about 4-hour away drive. I got Sandy, I got my mom's car. Well, actually, I gotta be real careful not to say his name, but my stepfather, it was the one that drove me to my mom's house. It wouldn't make sense if I picked up my mom's car after driving there myself, but he drove me there. I spent the night at my mom's house, and then I got Sandy and some other stuff in my mom's car and brought them back here. At the time, my mom was alive, and we thought that she might be able to, you know, somehow her cancer could be treated, and or at the very least she would last a few more months. But as it turned out, she only lasted 2 weeks after going to the hospital because the cancer was so advanced. But anyway, I got Sandy and I brought him back here, and so after my mom passed away, I took care of Sandy, and as far as his health goes, he was okay for the first couple months, but this past month he stopped eating his dry cat food. He was drinking a ton of water, like more water than a cat usually drinks, like the whole time that he was here. So I think his health was already declining. He was like just drinking non-stop. And then he stopped eating his dry cat food. So I got him some fancy, you know, I probably shouldn't say the company name, but I got him some really nice canned food, and he gobbled that down right away. but it was only like 2 or 3 days that he kept eating the canned cat food, and then he stopped eating that too, and he stopped drinking as much as well, and eventually it got to where he wasn't even using the litter box, so his digestive system must have totally shut down. He wasn't able to digest anything, and so then I knew the end was near. And people that have been watching my live streams know I kept talking about how he was probably going to pass away soon. I could just tell his health was declining. But so just these past couple days it got really bad, and I knew the end was near. And so last night he was laying on the floor. I could tell that he wasn't going to make it through the night, and I just pet him and told him what a good cat he was, and then I just left him there on the floor. And this morning I came down and he was dead, and so I buried him. But he was the best cat. He was the best cat that anyone could ever ask for. He was from the very first time we got him. When we got him, he wasn't really a kitten, but he was kind of small. I think that he was probably already a year old, but others think he was younger. But from the very beginning, he was the nicest, sweetest cat. He wasn't like some cat that wouldn't let strangers near him or anything like that. There are cats like that will hiss at stranger humans and everything, but Sandy was the kind that any human, he would just let them pet him and he would love them immediately. I did try having my sister's new angel cat, as we're calling them, over here for a while, but Sandy wouldn't have any of that. He was spitting and hissing like Sugar did years ago when he came into the house. So he was not nice to other cats, but he was nice to every human he ever met. And people have been asking, but my sister took Leon back, the angel kitten that looks just like Sandy, that appeared on her doorstep 2 days after my mom died. So Leon is back with her. So I don't have a cat, and I'm not planning to get any more pets now that Sandy is gone. But I really do want to remember Sandy, that he was the best cat that anyone could ever hope for. Like, people, if you watch my live stream series, saying goodbye to No Man's Sky version 1.38 and exploring Eisentam Galaxy, you'll see a lot of him jumping up in my lap and me petting him. That's the way he was. He wasn't a cat that you would have to like go looking for and like grab him and pick him up to get him to sit in your lap. He would jump right in your lap and just want to give you love and affection all the time. Of course, he would get bored of it after a while. He'd jump back out, but he'd always be back later to sit in your lap, like he is in my mom's lap in this picture. But yeah, that's why we're calling them angel cats. Sandy and Leon both look almost identical, and they're both the kind of cats that just immediately love every human they see and just want to give love and affection all the time. So it's really sad that he's gone now, but he's with my mom now. Some people, I'm not gonna hide, I'm a Christian and I believe in heaven and all that. And I'm also one that believes, some people will say, oh, pets don't go to heaven, animals don't go to heaven because they don't have a soul or whatever. I say that's baloney, because I believe in an all-powerful God, and he can easily remake a pet or whatever in heaven, whether they have a soul or not. He can still put Sandy in heaven with my mom, whether... I have no idea about the whole soul thing. The Bible doesn't talk about that specifically. It doesn't say what happens to animals when they die. That's one thing. People have many misconceptions. Like, one time I talked to a woman and she said, well, the Bible says that pets don't go to heaven. I told her, no, that's not in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it say whether or not animals go to heaven. That's just not in there. You cannot do that. And she like searched for it on her phone to try and find it. And she's like, well, I can't find it, but I know somebody told me that it's in there. But anyway, I definitely believe that Sandy is with my mom now. She loved Sandy and Sandy loved her, so it makes me happy to think that they're together now, and 30, 40 years down the road, I'll probably go in there with them. I know I will. I know I'll die someday. It's not something any of us can avoid, but I'm definitely in no hurry to get up there. But I am glad that someday I'll get to see them again. But this isn't a sad video. It's just kind of reporting to everybody that Sandy has passed away. I am sad that he's gone. I was a lot more sad last night when I could tell that he was going to die. But he's gone now, and I know he's in a better place. So if you don't see Sandy on my live streams anymore, you know why. But that's about it. Thank you all for all of your kind words on my mother's eulogy video. It's really helped me get through my mom's death, and Sandy did too. He comforted me a great deal, and I think that's what he was staying here on Earth for, was to comfort me that last little bit. And then 3 months later, after my mom passed away, he did too. So Sandy served his purpose. He made all of my family happy, that all of my family that knew him happy, and he comforted me in those trying days, and now he's being rewarded for his life of service to my family. So I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.